Hello, guys. I just wanted to do this short video. There's some days when I just can't find a comfortable position to be in. Today is one of such days. Those of you who've been following my channel know that I get a lot of pain that is associated with arthritis. Today is one of the down days for me, and I just can't seem to find a very comfortable position to be in. So unfortunately, this is the best that I can do today. But on days like this, I also get into a very reflective mood where I'm thinking about life and how far life has brought me and what the way forward is in different aspects and areas of my life. And I just wanted to share a few thoughts with you about the process of aging, which is something that a lot of us don't like to talk about because it's not a very comfortable topic. I hope that people can hear me. Um, the topic of aging. That is something that you can't shy away from, whether you like it or not. I still remember my 18th birthday uh, like yesterday, but that was 22 years ago. And I don't know where the last 22 years of my life have gone by. And today I'm 40. I celebrate all the successes along the journey. It's not been a bed of roses, but at the same time, the fact that I'm here and not 6 foot under means that I'm better off because with life comes hope. And there's so many people today who would give anything to be in my position that are not here anymore. And so, for those of you who get really worked up about age, which is just a number, by the way, you feel as old as you want to feel, then I'm just here to tell you that yes, it might seem that you have a lot of years on the clock, a bit like the speedometer. You've got a lot of, mileage on your vehicle, and you think, oh my God, it's going to leave me in the middle of nowhere anytime. It's similar to life, right? You're born, and there's a time to be born and a time to die. But the period in between is what we call life. And life is what you actually make it. Um, and you feel as old as you want to feel. And for me personally, some of the things that I have picked up along the journey, now that I'm in my 40s, and some of the nuggets that I want to share with somebody who's listening to me is that number one, at the golden age of 40, I have realized that you don't need to take life so seriously, Um, a lot of things that we get so worked up and hell bent on, the people that upset us, the stresses and strains of life. When you actually think about it in a broader strategic sense of the word, none of that really matters. All the stresses and strains and the demands that we put on ourselves, none of that is meaningful unless you have life and you're well enough, as in healthy, to enjoy the life. And so, one of the things that I've picked up is that I don't allow other people and their horrible toxic behavior to affect my peace and my happiness with the little life that I have to live that is left. That is issue number one, or nugget number one, is that no matter how bad life is, no matter how much people stress you out, you need to be able to sieve through the trash and decide, I'm not going to take this on board. I'm not even going to bother with that one. And really learn to put things into better compartments so that you don't raise your blood pressure unnecessarily. You don't upset yourself unnecessarily. You don't increase your stress levels unnecessarily and bring on all the illnesses that come with age, which is one of the reasons why a lot of us don't like talking about age, because age just seems to be some depressive kind of thing. And we all just want to shy away from it and not even think about it. So that is the first nugget that I have. Learn to manage your stress. Number two nugget is learn to be grateful for whatever you have. I know it sounds kind of like cliche, and oh, everybody says, oh, gratitude is everything, blah, blah, blah. No, but seriously, if you live this kind of life and have that principle that you're going to be grateful for whatever you have, your outlook and your perspective of life is very different. And I know that sometimes we all set goals and targets and we have ambitions and aspirations and things that we desire. And so sometimes we become so fixated on those things that we kind of lose sight of the little things that are actually going right in our lives. And I'm the first person to put my hand up and say, I'm guilty of that. But I lay here today, and one of the things that I realize when I sit back and think about the last 40 years of my life and all the things that I've been through, and the fact that I'm still counted among the living, I can only say that God has been good to me in spite of everything. I am still alive. 13 operations down the line, 11 of those under general anesthetic. Seeker is still here, counted amongst the living. How many people have I known who have even gone through one op and not made it? But I'm still here. And that to me means that there is a plan and there is a purpose for my life. And yes, there are days like today when life is difficult because, as I say, I'm in an awful lot of pain. I'm in under a awful lot of medications to try and control this pain. And I can't seem to get comfortable. But my life is still better off than somebody else's. There are people that can't even move. There are people in wheelchairs. There are people who can't get out of bed, not to talk about outside of their houses. But I can. I can. You know, even kicking and screaming and in pain, I still very well can. And so for me, my attitude to dealing with things and being able to put things into better perspective is being grateful for whatever I have. And so the fact that I'm alive is something to be grateful for. The fact that I have a roof over my head every single day is something to be grateful for. The fact that I have food in my tummy, I never go to bed hungry, is something to be grateful for. And I know it's easy for you to take those things for granted because you think, oh, but those are just the basics. Everybody gets that. Oh, but no, not everybody does. I don't know where you live whilst you're watching me, but I'm sure if you come out of your house and you walk for 10, 15 minutes, you begin to see people that are sat outside on the streets begging for alms because they've got nowhere to go. There are people that I know that sleep outside on old cardboard boxes because they're homeless. And so if I'm 40 years old, yes, I have issues. Yes, there are dreams that haven't been realized yet. Yes, there are ambitions and things that I would have loved to have, but I don't. But at the same time, God has actually been very good to me because I can sleep and not get wet. I have a huge roof over my head. I have a huge king size bed to myself. I can stretch and roll around in the bed and still not fall over. God has been good. I get to eat what I like every day. God has been good. And so, in the broad or the wider scheme of things, it's not quite as bad as I think it is. And that is the shift that I want a lot of us to bring ourselves to. Yes, it is good to have certain things. And I'm not saying don't be ambitious, don't aspire to have more, don't work hard. It's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that when you're fixated on what you want so much, it becomes difficult to be grateful for what you do have going for you in your life. This week has been a very good week for me, actually, because I got something that I never thought I was going to get, or I thought it was going to take a very long time to get. But today, by the grace of God, I have that thing and I'm so, so happy and grateful for it. The third thing is doing the best that you can to stay healthy. The best that you can to stay healthy. What do I mean by that? Everybody says, oh, life begins at 40. Yes, it does. Mm-hmm. And if you don't control it, it is not the nice kind of life that is beginning for you at 40. All those things that you could do in your 20s and 30s and think that you're getting away with, you can't begin to mess about with those same things in your lifetime once you hit the 40s, because that is exactly the same place where all the midlife crisis also begins. So, as women and men, once we hit our 40s, whether we like it or not, metabolism begins to go down. It begins to slow down. Your whole body is beginning to slow down because you're getting older. And so everything is older inside of you as well. So you're not that energetic, strong 20-year-old that could go for 3 days nonstop without sleeping, partying all weekend. You're not that 25-year-old anymore that could process and digest huge quantities of alcohol anymore. Your kidneys, they're tired, your liver, it needs to rest. Everything inside of you needs extra care and attention if you intending to prolong your life and not just be alive or surviving, but actually thriving and enjoying the life and not enduring it. And so, one of the other nuggets that I have for you this afternoon is that if you're really intending to enjoy your life for the next 40, 30 years, 50 years, whatever you want it to be, yes, your life is not in your hands, but you can do everything humanly possible to fight to live and then let the Lord do the rest. What do I mean by that? You need to eat healthier. You need to pay closer attention to the things that you're putting inside of you. You need to cut back on your alcohol consumption and not binge drink. You need enough rest. So you need at least 6 hours of sleep every single night as an absolute minimum. If you can get more, even better. You need to learn to drink more water. You need to fall in love with fresh fruits and vegetables, as those are the foods that have the phytonutrients that are going to keep your vital organs safe and healthy and push you into the foreseeable future. And for me, I had to learn that lesson the hard way because of my not so good health and using bioavailable fresh fruits and vegetables and berries that have been capsulated to make it easy for me to consume the right amounts that my body needs to keep me going. I talk about Juice Plus a lot. It is something that I use extensively and I continue to encourage those of you that are watching me, those of you that support me. Please, this is something that you need. Seeker.juiceplus.com is the website. Go on there. All these food supplements that I talk about are on there. They're really going to help you to keep tabs on things. We have the Omega blend that has 5 different omegas, omega 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. And I'm going to do a video that really describes and explains in great detail what each one of those omegas does for the body. And encourage you to get that because it helps you keep and maintain and manage your blood pressure. If you're a person that suffers with managing your blood sugar levels that keep fluctuating up and down, you need the Omega blend to be able to help you stabilize that and give you the healthy body that you desire. That in incorporation with eating healthier, cutting back on your carbohydrate consumption, and introducing more fresh fruits and vegetables in as raw a form as possible inside of your gut to keep you going. It is the only way to make the aging process a lot more bearable. The fourth thing that I found to be valuable into my 40s and through this aging process is to have meaningful interactions with people and learn to value my time with the people that inspire and speak life into my body. And yes, as you notice, I am very specific about what I'm saying. And I am not talking about just having anybody in your life just for the sake of, crowding your space with people. No, I'm talking about the people that propel you to be better, the people that push you and inspire and motivate you to get the best out of you. Fall in love with those people, hold on to them, and foster and nurture those relationships because that is what is going to give you the outcomes that you desire. Remove all the clutter from your life. Cut out the friends that are doing more than gossip all the time, and focus on the friends that give you good partnerships and relationships. Talk to you about business ideas, things that you can do that progress and advance you as a person. Form those relationships and stick to them. Meaningful relationships. The last thing that I want to talk about is that each human being has a higher being that they submit to. I'm Christian, and so my higher being is my Heavenly Father up there who made me in His own image and in His likeness. I don't know what um, you submit to as a person. Everybody has what they believe in, but I'm a Christian. And I believe that my Heavenly Father up there made me and He has a plan and a purpose for my life. And so by submitting to Him, by believing the words that are in scripture that tell me that He has a plan for my life, not a plan to destroy me, not a plan to bring ill my way, but plans to give me a future and a hope. I hold on to those words. I rely on Him absolutely for everything. And I believe that if I do the best that I am able to do, that He's going to bless me and bless the work of my hands and get me where I need to be. So I guess the crux of what I'm saying is that aging doesn't have to be this dreaded thing that people don't talk about. Aging is actually amazing and beautiful when you come to embrace it in all its fullness and realize that times and seasons happen to all of us. And the way that your aging process is going to be for you, the experiences that you're going to have, a lot dependent upon you and how you choose to see and approach aging. If you want to approach aging from a point of view of, oh my God, it's just this miserable, long spell of endurance, then that is the experience you're going to have. But if you're like me and you're fighting to live, if you're like me and you're going to do everything humanly possible to stay alive, if you're going to have meaningful conversations and relationships, if you're going to rely on your heavenly source or your higher being to draw strength from, if you're going to do the needful to look after your health by, eating healthily and doing all the other things that are going to help you stay alive, if you're going to have meaningful relationships with people, then your life is going to be much, 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 much richer when you learn to be grateful for whatever it is that you have. And you learn to realize that you can actually embrace aging and have a very, very positive experience. Because let's face it, it's inevitable. There's nothing you can do about it. The gray hairs, they're going to come whether you pick them or not. The wrinkles are going to come whether you like them or not. But if you embrace the whole process, look at it holistically, and where possible, limit the uh, unhelpful or the things about aging that you don't like, unpalatable things that you don't want to see as part of the aging process. Then do the needful to slow that process down as much as possible, and you would have a better outcome. Aging is here to stay, whether you like it or not. It is part of life. The last thing that I'll say as a bonus before I go is that a lot of people think that, oh, once I'm older, especially men, once I'm older, I won't be able to get my dick up and keep it up. I won't be able to satisfy my woman. I won't be able to have a pleasant sexual experience. What is my libido going to be like? I think women also think about these things. And women also think about, vaginal dryness and all of that sort of stuff. But darling, if you really, really, truly want to keep that side of things in check and, things ticking over in the right direction, fall in love with fresh fruits and vegetables. Exercise, get out there and get a 20-minute walk every day. Yeah, eat the right kinds of food. Keep back and cut back on the carbohydrate intake. I've said this before. Fall in love with fresh fruits and vegetables. And seriously, women, if you really want to have a good experience in that bed, fall in love with the Omega blend because it's going to help you regulate your hormones. And this goes for men also. And believe you me, you would be able to perform a lot more than you would ever imagine because of it. I'm in my 40s, and believe you me, I am having a fantastic experience. In fact, it's almost as if the last 20 years of my life didn't matter because I'm having the best possible experience right now. Guys, it is not the end of the world to be 40. You can be 40 and be rocking it and enjoying it like I am. So, guys, Juice Plus, juiceplus.com is the place to go to get your health food supplements that are going to help you regulate and manage your health and have positive outcomes. God bless you. I hope that this message is something in this message that's for you, that you've picked out of what I've said. It doesn't have to be doom and gloom. You choose how you want your experience with aging to go. I'm enjoying mine. I've embraced mine. And the future is bright because of it. I love you, darling. Have a fantastic weekend. God bless you. And stay beautiful. Aging is real. It happens to the best of us. Bye bye.